and Manchester United at the John Smith Stadium. On an emotional day for Huddersfield, they get a point against Manchester United. Dean Hoyle's final game as chairman. He's sold the club because of his ill health, and that's the last home game that he'll be in charge of the club for. So important for them to give him a really good send-off. For Manchester United, it means that they won't be playing in the Champions League next season. Were they the architects of their own downfall in terms of the equaliser, Alex?
They were. You could see players were switching off. They absolutely wasn't ready. For me, I have to pick out Luke Shaw. He's positioning, he's turning his back on the ball, he's reacting. Where as a fullback, you need to be set and ready for a situation like this, and his recovery is so poor. But we said about Huddersfield in the second half, in the first half they showed United too much respect, and in the second half you could feel they were pressing, they were around United. Just look here, as a fullback you need to be set and expecting. That's why you're back for defensive set pieces, ready. You need to be switched on, and Luke Shaw from start to finish there, it's just poor defending.
Jonas Lossell with 2 Premier League assists. Both of them have come at home, and both of them have come against Manchester United. So for Dean Hoyle, it was a 1-1 draw against Manchester United in his final home game as chairman. He said it's a decision that he had to take with his head, but it wasn't one that his heart wanted. And he's out in front of the Huddersfield fans right now as they show their appreciation for him. 10 years as chairman of Huddersfield. He's taken them from League One to the Premier League, and they appreciate everything that he's done for him. He sold the club to a lifelong Huddersfield fan in Phil Hodgkinson, and hoping that they've left the club in as good hands as he's proved to be throughout his tenure as Huddersfield chairman. It's been a real success story for him at Huddersfield. For Manchester United, it's been such a disappointing season. It promised an upturn when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in, and now, without Champions League football to aim for next season, it's going to be a big summer for them.
A big summer. At times that was shambolic, really, watching them, and this last 6, 7, 8 games under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a lot of question marks. And I thought that, you know, we all looked at Jose Mourinho, he was the main problem. Now, I've got no doubts at all they needed to move on from him. You know, you could see that he was damaging the club to a certain extent. Maybe you need to buy some players, and everybody's now saying, well, you know, if we can accumulate more players in the summer, that might be the way forward. Since Ferguson left, Alex Ferguson, have spent £744 million. And what they've done is they've pretty much tried to buy the Harlem Globetrotters, if you like, of football. They're buying players, not necessarily with a structure or a strategy of how you're going to build a team. Whereas if you look at what City and Liverpool have done in that time, they've bought the right players without any egos. Now, it's all right saying, oh, you sell Paul Pogba, that could be the answer. It's not going to be the answer. There's so much more that's wrong with that club, and they've got a manager now under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We all like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but he's managed Mulder, he's managed Cardiff. Now you want somebody at that club that's going to know the market to go and buy players to bring the best out of them, and you're competing against Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Pochettino. It's going to be a big season for him. And my fear for United is if it goes wrong and they don't start the season well, he's going to come under enormous pressure, and then you're going to have to, you know, maybe even sack him. And that for me feels like what will happen next season. You know, I think they've got themselves in such a mess. When he took over, everyone thought, yeah, he was a great stopgap, and the results they had against poor teams were really good. But since then, it's been shown there's a lot of problems with the players, and I feel they've got a major problem next season with buying players there. I can only see more problems next season for them.
In terms of the level of performance, is that coming from the fact that the players aren't putting the effort in, that they're the wrong players, that they're not good enough? Which of those is...
No, I don't think it's a lack of effort. You know, I listen to Gary, and sometimes when you've been at the club, and you get emotional, you know, and I get it. I feel his pain. I was at Liverpool at a very similar time, you know, when Kenny left, and you straight away you think that, you know, you're going to buy the best players, and that's going to be the difference. You need to move with the times. And I think where United, they're so far behind now. You know, they've tried Jose, they've tried Moyes, Van Gaal, and it hasn't really worked. You know, so I think they've got to have a really big look at them, have a good look at themselves. There'll be a lot of pain to come for United. You know, it's taken, Liverpool 29 years to try and win the title again. This is obviously the closest they've come. And it feels exactly what was happening at Liverpool. And I was in that dressing room. It wasn't like we weren't trying. It's just confidence was so low. And I look at these United players, it's exactly the same again. And I fear for them. Because, you know, people, you know, they're in a bit of a mess. And I don't know what you think, Alex.
I say it's hard when you're looking at that game, how average every every single player was. Actually, the only one that can come out with a little bit of credit, I would say, is McTominay in there. You can see he's making runs, he's trying. You can see he actually has that hunger when he's putting on the United shirt, like he's got a point to prove. I think too many of them, I think actually Manchester United may need to look at restructuring. So it's not about getting Harlem Globetrotters and, you know, the talent, because you need people who come in, and it's not a finished article when you walk into United. It's a huge club, but you know what, the hard work continues when you walk through those doors, what it means to play for United. The likes of, Gary on comms, when he's saying, you could see every time Gary put on a United shirt how much hunger he had, how much it meant losing. If they didn't win a game, it hurt them. These players, for me, I'm watching them, it doesn't hurt.
I think as well, recruitment is so important, because it's like a jigsaw puzzle, buying players. Alex Ferguson was the best at it, and for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for him to go and buy players, he's not used to this market, and that's what's going to be so difficult for him. He needs a lot of help there.
We hope to hear from inside the Manchester United camp after this break. We will also turn our attention to Arsenal's match against